with Iran as concerns over economic instability grow across our nation and the world. Good evening, everyone. You're watching LA Live News Tonight. I'm Marla Tejas.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Susan George. Christine Devine has the night off. The president addressed the nation for about 20 minutes.
And he vowed to finish the war in Iran soon. Fox's Caroline Elliott starting us off live in New York City tonight. Caroline?
Yeah, Susan, Marla. Tonight, President Trump said the war in Iran is coming to an end, but it is not over yet. The president said the U.S. will hit Iran, quote, extremely hard in the next 2 to 3 weeks, and warned that even more strikes will happen if the regime even tries to rebuild their nuclear program. Smoke seen rising over Tehran Wednesday morning after a series of explosions, the latest Israel-U.S. strike on the Iranian capital. President Trump on Truth Social followed up, threatening to bomb the country, quote, back to the Stone Ages if Tehran doesn't allow ships to resume passing freely through the Strait of Hormuz. In recent days, the president has said the war may be nearing an end.
They want to make a deal. They want to make a deal more than I want to make a deal. But in a fairly short period of time, we'll be finished. They will not be able to do a nuclear weapon for years.
A day earlier, President Trump said the U.S. would leave Iran in a matter of weeks, even if the strait remained closed and no ceasefire deal happens.
Trump may declare victory in this next speech, but gas prices are going to continue to go up and up and up. Food prices are going to go up and up and up. People are going to die in America and all over the world. The carnage of this war is going to have a tail that is going to last likely for the rest of this year.
Meantime, President Trump has threatened to withdraw from NATO, and Secretary of State Marco Rubio doubled down on the potential exit.
We are going to have to re-examine whether or not this alliance that has served this country well for a while is still serving that purpose, or has it now become a one-way street?
And during this speech, the one thing that the president didn't really touch on tonight is the future of NATO. We just heard him talking about the potential exit. He had been threatening to leave NATO. He even told Reuters before the speech that he would address his so-called disgust with NATO, but we didn't really hear much of that tonight, so unclear where that stands now. Guys.
And it's also unclear exactly when this will end. Yes, he said we are getting very close. He also said this will end, quote, shortly. But in terms of whether that's 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, another 6 weeks, we don't know.
That's right. We, of course, do know that they did give that 2 to 3 week timeline tonight where they said that they would be hitting Iran hard. But we also know that the Secretary of State Rubio was saying that this would be measured in weeks, not months. So that's a little vague, but does give us a little bit of an idea of how long this could take. But yeah, a lot of things still unclear tonight.
And some hope that it will come to an end sooner rather than later, since so many people are hurting right now, economically.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen those gas prices in the last few weeks go up and up in many states, now over $4 a gallon. So that's something that the president has close eyes on. Of course, we know it is a midterm election year. Those numbers matter, as well as approval ratings that have also taken a recent hit. So a lot of things to consider here tonight.
All right, Caroline Elliott live for us in New York City tonight. Thank you so much. Only on Fox 11 tonight, a local post office is buried in trash and surrounded by homeless encampments. It's becoming a total mess for neighbors and customers alike.
And the situation is spiraling. Fox 11's Matthew Seedorf is live in MacArthur Park with more. Matthew.
Pretty deplorable conditions outside this post office. You roll up and you think this can't possibly be open. The parking lot's covered in graffiti and trash. There's rats scurrying around. Go ahead and take a look at this video. This is just about an hour or so ago. You can see just a little small taste of it outside this post office. Unbelievable. Again, mounds of trash flooding the parking lot, almost blocking spaces. I'd estimate at least a dozen encampments, maybe more. Some of them even impressive, plugged into electricity. Inside one of them, I saw a working fan, even a refrigerator. Now, speaking with a postal worker, he tells me he has his own safety concerns. He was assaulted there working one time, and while the homeless have been living there, some cases months or even years.
We're here maybe about 9 months. 9 months.
Really?
Luckily, we haven't gotten kicked out of here yet. Because every other place we go to, they kick us out. We lose everything. Then we end up paying the streets. I've been asleep at bus stops. I've been chased by men. They almost got, abused, everything.
If the city came by and offered resources, would you take it?
I'll jump on it in a second.
And they haven't done that?
No, not over here. They go to other places and stuff like that, but they haven't came here at all.
So we did reach out to the District 1 Council office. They say that they're monitoring the situation outside this post office very closely. They also say they plan to have a cleanup as early as next week. Right across the street where we're standing right now is a fire station, actually, and they say it is the busiest in the city and one of the busiest, if not the top busiest in the country. 80% of their calls here relating to the homeless. Reporting live tonight, Matthew Seedorf, Fox 11 News.
Matthew, to be clear, this is a working post office. I mean, looking at those images there, it's hard to believe that people can get in and out to conduct business.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling. It is working, and when you roll up, you think, I just can't imagine someone that lives in this area that needs to deliver something or get their passport. You park there and you're immediately met with that. And you have to kind of maneuver trash and homeless encampments just to park your car.
How does something get to this degree of severity? Of course the CD1 rep must know about it. Of course, if the fire station is right across from there, surely somebody is calling and complaining.
I'm asking myself that same question. I think a lot of people just accept this. It's the way it is. I've heard from some out here that the city will come, they'll clean it up. Within hours, it's right back. So at that point, maybe they've given up.
Thank you, Matthew.
All right, moving on to this. Last night we showed you disturbing video from the Inland Empire. A mother says she called 911 for an intruder, but when the deputy arrived, he ended up shooting her teenage son. Tonight, Fox 11's Nick Garcia is sharing the family's story.
They almost took my son's life, and I thank God every day that my son's still here with me.
Betrayed by the badge. That's how Tamara Brown feels after she called for help, and instead, a deputy shot her son 3 times. Brown says in February of last year, she called 911 to report someone was trying to break into her Apple Valley home. Deputies arrived, and Brown stayed on the phone with a dispatcher.
The 911 dispatcher assured her to walk outside her home because it was safe.
Attorney Denise Gastelum is representing the family in their lawsuit against the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department. Watch this home security footage. You'll see the family run out of the home they believe to safety, then 3 gunshots. Elijah Brown falls to the ground after being shot in the chest and stomach. In the immediate aftermath of the shooting, the Sheriff's Department released a statement saying that Elijah had a knife, but the family's attorney says
it's a classic example of officers being impulsive, being reckless, racially profiling a young black kid, and shooting first and thinking later.
The Sheriff's Department has not released the body cam footage or the 911 tapes, and the district attorney's office says the case is still under review.
Thank God every day that I'm still able to call my brother, or my brother come see me, or I can tell my brother that I love him, because I wasn't able to.
The traumatic incident has the family questioning the deputy's training.
My son wasn't even out the door yet, and he started shooting. He didn't know who he was. He was racist, he was biased, and he shouldn't have been like that.
And the family is demanding that that deputy be fired and the entire department undergo bias training. In Riverside, I'm Nick Garcia, Fox 11 News.
Tonight, new details. A man who used a dating app to set up a deadly robbery is going to prison for life. Anthony Levi Wilson was sentenced today in a Compton courtroom. He was convicted of fatally shooting 25-year-old Janava Granderson in 2021. The victim was ambushed by gang members in Watts after being lured through the app Grindr. His family says the sentencing brings them a step closer to healing.
Finally got justice for my son, and I'm going to continue to keep helping other mothers to get justice that's going through the same situation that we had to go through.
2 others were also convicted. One was a minor at the time of the murder and has since served his sentence and released. The other is already serving a 25-year sentence. A large bear roamed through a residential Ventura County neighborhood before being tranquilized this afternoon.
Fox 11's Rachel Aragon, she's live there in Fillmore, where residents had quite an adventurous day. He looked like a big bear too, Rachel.
Yeah, we're talking 500-pound bear at that. But earlier today, dozens of people were out here trying to get a glimpse and even a picture, of course, of this rather large bear. And for many residents right here in Fillmore, it was a thrilling day. Take a look.
Surprising to see a bear in your yard. You don't really see that every day.
12-year-old Ocean Holguin never expected to spawn a bear in Fillmore, and neither did any of the nearby residents.
We were just shocked, man. We never see nothing like this in Fillmore, California, you know?
The bear sightings sending swarms of people to gather around this usually quiet neighborhood.
We see possums, raccoons, but not a bear, a 500-pound bear.
Ocean and his uncle Daniel remained very calm despite the bear maneuvering through their property.
So my uncle said that there was a bear, and I didn't believe him really. So I looked out my window and I saw a big thing under my motorhome with fur, and I started moving and like, oh, it's really a bear.
The bear prompting a warning from the city to stay away.
That guy feeding the bear some fish fillet.
But that didn't stop some people from feeding the bear, which was discouraged by law enforcement. The city of Fillmore telling residents to avoid this area after earlier sightings along 4th Street.
1, 2, 3.
But by Wednesday afternoon, California Fish and Wildlife had tranquilized the bear and were able to carry it away with much of the community watching.
Yeah, a lot of support for the bear, you know. I mean, we all love animals out here, you know. I mean, so we're just happy they took it away safely. And
Many residents I spoke to say that while I do see wildlife out here in Ventura County, this was a first seeing a bear of this magnitude. Again, wildlife officials also advising people, if you do come across a bear, to stay calm and slowly walk away. Do not run or sprint or, of course, approach the bear in fast terms. But again, just glad everyone was safe out here in Fillmore. Praying live tonight. I'm Rachel Aragon. I'll send it back to you.
And don't feed the bears.
Might we add, don't try to feed the bears either.
That's so crazy, that video.
Exactly.
Did the bear have a tracking collar
definitely number
on,
one, don't
Rachel?
feed them.
Sorry to interrupt. Did the bear
I'm not no, that's a good question. I'm not quite sure about that, but like I mentioned, for many of these residents, I know we're near a state park, but for many of these residents, they say it's the first time that they've seen a bear roaming around, so there was quite a crowd, as you saw from earlier.
I don't think of Fillmore as bear country. But.
All right, Rachel, thank you so much. Still ahead at 8, and it's off. 4 astronauts embark on a historic moon mission, what Artemis 2 hopes to accomplish, and a look at what's next.
Plus, the race for LA County Sheriff is heating up. We're live in studio with one of the candidates facing off against Sheriff Robert Luna. That's next.
And in the weather, our rain is long gone, but we're still hanging on to a bit of a cool feel tomorrow, windy in some spots, and then it's a warm Santa Ana wind pattern by the end of the week. I'll have all those changes in my forecast coming up.
All right, well, we're inching closer to the 2026 elections. The primary is just 2 months away on June 2nd. One of the biggest races we're watching, the race for LA County Sheriff. There are multiple people eyeing the job looking to unseat incumbent Sheriff Robert Luna.
One of those challengers joins us now, LA County Sheriff candidate Oscar Martinez. You are a current lieutenant within the department, 17 years in the department.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you very much.
For people who are unfamiliar with Oscar Martinez, who are you?
Oscar Martinez, I was in the United States Marine Corps, where I served my country both Iraq and Afghanistan for 8 years. Left the Marine Corps and immediately joined the Sheriff's Department. I've been with the Sheriff's Department for 17 years, worked patrol, the jails, administration, professional standards, and I live in Santa Clarita with my wife and my 2 small children.
So what do you suppose you will do differently than the current sheriff?
Well, first of all, I'm going to do something, which no one's doing anything right now, but I'm going to provide leadership to our deputies, because right now there is no leadership, and the little leadership they get is a backstabbing leadership. Our deputies are scared of doing their job because they believe they're going to be sacrificed in the altar of political correctness. And I'm going to provide clarity to our communities out there who absolutely have no idea what the sheriff does, what the sheriff position is in anything, because Robert Luna is unable to make any decision whatsoever.
Well, clearly you're not afraid of political correctness because you're running against your boss.
Yes.
So you're not afraid of retaliation?
I was in the Marine Corps. I went to Iraq and Afghanistan. There's nothing in Los Angeles that's going to make me be afraid of any political correctness or any type of retaliation. In life, you got to take risk. I'm taking a risk in my career for my family. I have 2 small children. We live here in LA County. And for my partners out there who are hungry for some leadership, some guidance, and some commander's intent.
Are you able to give some more specifics on when you say there is no policy under Sheriff Luna? Give me a sense of what that policy or what kind of policy you would have.
A leader has to set the standard for the organization. A leader has to provide the commander's intent. Robert Luna always claimed, and he was right here claiming that he has 40 years, more experience than any other candidate. Yet, when he came in as sheriff, we had 4 settlement agreements in our jail. We're about to get a 5th one from the Department of Justice of the state of California. In patrol, you have the city of Lancaster suing the sheriff and the county because we're not providing the resources that they're paying for. In courts, we cannot even get the bus running on time from the jails to the courthouse. Mind you, Twin Towers is only like 5 miles from the courthouse, and we cannot even do that. I mean, the man in all aspects of our department is completely damaging the image of the Sheriff's Department, and we, the taxpayers, are on the hook to pay millions of dollars in lawsuit. A new lawsuit just came in today. Well, not a new lawsuit, a fine from the state of California.
For somebody who is a lieutenant, you've been with the department for 17 years. This is the largest sheriff's department in the world. A budget of $4 billion, about 18,000 employees. What experience do you have that makes you a viable candidate to lead such an organization?
I have 25 years of professional experience with the military and law enforcement. The sheriff cannot have all the answers for all the problems in the department. You got to hire the right people. In the book, Good to Great, the #1 thing a leader needs to do, he needs to get the right people in the bus before that bus can roll along. So I'm going to make sure that I have the right people in place to help me lead the department. I have my own experiences, but I need people with different experiences, such as logistics, finances, and so forth, that's going to help me bring this department to the 21st century, because it is right now stuck in 1986.
How are you getting your message across to the public?
Social media, door knocking. I am out there door knocking, and I talk to Republicans, to Democrats, to liberals, to conservatives, because public safety goes across the board. We all need public safety. Whether you need public safety to go to the Dodger Stadium and have a hot dog, whether you need public safety to go with your partner to West Hollywood at 1 o'clock in the morning and have a party, whether you need public safety to go to church on Sunday morning. Public safety goes across the board, and no matter what your race, what your political leanings are, we got to have good public safety in order to have a good economy in our communities.
Well, noted on your website is you're a no politics kind of a candidate, yet you know inherently this is a political job.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so how do you reconcile the difference, the two?
No politics, just public safety. I'm a politician. The moment you said I'm running to be the dog catcher, you are now a politician. But you have to know your job when it comes to enforcing the Constitution of the United States. The sheriff, first of all, is a constitutional officer. So I'm going to bring, when it comes to my job as sheriff, there's not going to be any politics. We're going to do everything according to the Constitution and with solid policies that we're going to have in place.
All right. Oscar Martinez, thank you for joining us. And if you would like to learn more about Oscar Martinez or any of the other candidates, just head to foxla.com or download our free Fox Local app.
And thank you to the service, your service to our country.
God bless our troops out there doing the Lord's work.
All right, coming up, over a dozen dogs found dumped in a local park.
They were rescued, but soon they'll need a home. Their story next.
Weather is sponsored by My Home Sold.
Look at that. Looks a little hazy there. Is that Santa Monica? Is this our Santa Monica?
It's our Santa Monica cam, and about 24 hours ago we had some light rain. That's come and gone. We're going to warm it up as we make our way toward the weekend. Let's bring in Chief Meteorologist Adam Kruger. We're on this roller coaster, aren't we?
We are, and it's, our roller coaster isn't that bad compared to some other parts of the country. So we've at the bottom part of the roller coaster, we've cooled off to around average temperatures for this time of year, and we'll bring it back up or warm it up, as you said, as we head towards the weekend. Yeah, the wet weather's gone, though. Here's that live view. You can see a couple scattered clouds here and there, maybe a little bit more cloud cover as we go through the night, but it's not like we expect a big marine layer onslaught or anything like that. Let's look at those temperatures. So normal this time of year is 71. I know it's just been so warm for so long that this might feel kind of cool to you, but here we are with a high of 72 downtown today, so that's right around, or if you want to be technical about it, slightly warmer than normal for this time of year. We'll continue tomorrow, though, with onshore winds like we saw today, and that's going to give us those cool-ish temperatures, again, right around average for this time of year. We get the offshore Santa Ana winds ramping up on Friday, and in some spots it's going to be pretty windy. So that's going to warm us up. It's going to make the air even drier, and so we'll start warming up on Friday. We get into the 80s as we head into our weekend. Got a couple of storm systems on the map. This one that's centered near Denver with the rain east of that, that's the one that came through here yesterday that brought us the rain. So it's covered a lot of ground since then. It's moving rather quick. That one's for sure gone. This one is producing some wet weather in Northern California. That rain and mountain snow is not coming down our direction, but this low is doing a couple of things. Again, keeping that kind of cooler feel, that onshore wind with us, and also creating some strong winds in some parts of our area, like the mountains and the deserts. In closer on radar and satellite, it is pretty quiet. Skies are mainly clear right now, or maybe just a few scattered clouds here and there. So we have two different distinct areas where there's wind alerts. One is through here. So let's say through the high desert, across some of the mountains to the low desert. That's in effect through Thursday for winds from the west. I've drawn the arrows on there to make it as clear as possible. And then these areas, we've got a mix of wind advisories and high wind watches, which could change to high wind warnings. But this is more so for Friday because of the Santa Ana winds, or winds from the northeast that will kick in there. So let's go through that on our model. This will make it a little more clear. And watch the red and purple spots. That's where the winds are strongest. Here we go into tomorrow. And again, you can see, especially across parts of the mountains and the deserts, we have those stronger winds. Now, as we go to Friday, you see a complete wind shift here as those winds start blowing in from land towards ocean. That's the offshore wind. And there's going to be those typical Santa Ana wind-prone corridors. Usually, if you think about where the highways cut through the mountains, so the 5, the 15, the 10, that's usually where we find some of the strongest winds in these moderate Santa Ana wind events like we have setting up on Friday. Okay, overnight tonight, we've got temperatures that will be around average for this time of year, somewhat cool. You can see most lows in the middle part of the 50s or upper 50s. And then tomorrow we're looking at a little cloud cover early, clearing later in the day. Temps tomorrow will be a lot like what we saw today, which for a lot of the greater LA area means upper 60s to low 70s. And a quick look at our 7-day here. We are warming up to about 80 on Friday for LA and inland Orange County, 80s this weekend, and still pleasant next week with 70s and no rain in the forecast through the 7-day. Back to you.
Well, still ahead, a historic moon mission now underway.
We have all the excitement from the Artemis 2 launch next.
Live across SoCal, this is LA Live News Tonight on Fox 11 Plus.
2, 1, booster ignition, and liftoff.
An unforgettable day for dreamers and skygazers as NASA's Artemis mission heads back toward the moon. The rocket lifted off in a stunning and history-making moment. Watch parties popped up across Southern California with crowds counting down and cheering the launch. One of the many watch parties took place in Downey. The city is where several space shuttles and Apollo lunar modules were built.
Fox 11's Christina Gonzalez was at the party at the Columbia Memorial Space Center. She watched space enthusiasts witness and cherish the historic moment.
The launch of Artemis 2 live on screens at a watch party in Downey's Columbia Memorial Space Center.
And I saw the Apollo 11 launch on my little black and white TV with my mom in the living room, right, you know? And
did you think this would happen?
I didn't, you know, I'm glad I lived this long to see.
Did you work on the Apollo?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. We calibrated all the electronic equipment used to measure everything. I'm 89 years old now, so I'm just glad to be here to see this.
It is exciting because it's been so long since we've been to the moon, since 1972.
Houston, what does the old moon look like?
Grainy images here from the Apollo missions, which made it possible for humans to set foot on the moon.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Think about it. The idea behind Artemis is to set up a base on the moon, which means travel like they used to do with the shuttle, which, by the way, they happen to have a simulator for here at the museum. I am flying it right now. Let's see if I can land. Oops, I think I'm upside down.
You can just move the stick one more time. There you go. Now you're in the cockpit.
These students definitely doing much better than me.
Pull it up, pull it up, pull it up. Considering how some of these kids have been answering today, knowing about Artemis and even talking about stuff that even I forgot or didn't know, I'm pretty certain that some of these kids are going to be going up to the moon or potentially in the future even Mars.
We made it once, didn't we? Or did we?
Even he has a sense of humor about that whole thing. Now, from the Columbia Memorial Space Center in Downey, I'm Christina Gonzalez, Fox 11 News.
Well, there is a huge local connection aboard the mission of Artemis 2. One of the astronauts is Victor Glover. He's a graduate of Ontario High School.
And Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. Fox 11's Laura Diaz talked with his proud father today and others. She's here with more.
It's all very exciting. It was a few hours before liftoff. He and his family were in a private VIP area at Cape Canaveral. His smile was as bright as the rocket carrying his son soon would be.
We were all just excited and pumped up and say, all right, let's go.
That's Victor Glover Sr. taking us behind the scenes at Cape Canaveral just hours before his son Victor Glover Jr. would lift off.
2, 1.
On the historic Artemis 2 mission.
I had a chance to talk with Victor Jr. on FaceTime this morning after he woke up, and seeing the big smile on his face and the fact that he's ready really has put a lot of comfort in my heart.
Glover Jr. will be the first black astronaut to fly around the moon. He plays an essential role, manually piloting the aircraft during ascent and entry. But Victor was a rising star long before his NASA days. He was an athlete and a scholar locally at Ontario High School. He's pictured here with his buddies. They called themselves Knights of the Round Table. Then he went on to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, where he would earn a degree in engineering, play 2 sports, and meet his future wife. A few years back, Victor and I had a playful moment on Zoom. You see, we share the same alma mater in Cal Poly.
You and I actually have a shared history.
Yes, yes.
As busy as he is, Victor still makes time to give back to the Cal Poly SLO campus.
He's the same. He really is Victor all the time.
That's Cal Poly San Luis Obispo's president, marveling over Victor's commitment to his alma mater. He's spoken to numerous student and athlete groups.
He advises engineering. He advises our athletic council. He has come back at the invitation of the Black Student Union. He's so personable, so humble, but yet so inspiring.
With all the hard work that it's taken for him to get to where he is, he's never forgotten about where he came from.
Victor Sr. portrayed no nervousness about his son during our Zoom talk today. Maybe that's partially how you get through the jitters. He remarked, saying of his family, "We're ready for this." So the whole family's so into it.
Of course.
And such a fantastic family.
Oh my goodness. And he's literally out of this world. I mean, figuratively and literally. And earlier we were on the stream when this was happening, and here, of course, on Fox 11 and Fox 11 Plus, that he one day is expected to, according to his friends, again, just anecdotally, to run for president, perhaps?
His friends from high school say that they think he will run one day. And I actually asked him in that interview, and he kind of went, you know, I'm a little busy right now. But honestly, when you look at his life story, it is so compelling.
Yes.
He would certainly be the strongest of candidates. But for right now, he's busy. He's very busy, and we're all rooting for him on planet Earth. And I should say that all of his children have attended Cal Poly. One just graduated. 2 are now students there. And as we say at my alma mater, Poly proud. So,
go Mustangs.
Yeah.
Mustangs, right?
Yeah, Mustangs. Go Mustangs.
All right,
Thank
Laura,
you, Laura.
thank you so much.
Oh, it's so nice to be able to report that nice news. A hard turn here, unfortunately.
16 small dogs now safe tonight after a call led them to a Palmdale park. Animal control officers arrived and located the dogs roaming in a small area. The dogs had matted fur and showed signs of neglect. Teams from LA County Animal Care responded and rescued all of the dogs. The dogs are being vaccinated and cared for at the shelter. Officials are asking the public for information to find the person who abandoned the dogs.
Developing tonight, an alleged stalker targets rock legend Lindsey Buckingham in Santa Monica. The female suspect splashed him with an unknown substance and then ran. Police say they know who she is. Fox 11's Haley Winslow reports investigators expect an arrest soon.
Investigators say former Fleetwood Mac lead guitarist Lindsey Buckingham was attacked by a stalker. They say a woman threw an unknown substance on the 2-time Grammy winner when he walked into a Santa Monica building for an appointment Wednesday morning. TMZ executive producer Michael Babcock tells me the woman ran off, but police know who she is and are looking for her.
She obviously knew that he was going to be at this place at this time and was sort of lying in wait for him to ambush him and throw this substance on him.
Thankfully, Buckingham was not injured, but Babcock says this is not their first run-in. Not a very nice stalker, huh?
No, really, right. Sometimes they just want to see you, they want to be close to you, and in this case, it seems like she was at the very least trying to put a real scare into him.
During our interview, LAPD called saying they can't comment on the open investigation, but
The Los Angeles Police Department's Threat Management Unit is working with the city of Santa Monica to investigate this incident to protect the integrity of the open and ongoing investigation. No further comment will be provided.
the 76-year-old rock and roll Hall of Famer, ranked by Rolling Stone as one of the greatest guitarists of all time, joined Fleetwood Mac in 1975 with then-girlfriend Stevie Nicks. But after documented rifts with Nicks, he parted ways with the band in 2018.
What do you think? She doing a good job?
I think she's doing better than I do.
Buckingham and Fleetwood Mac have recently gained popularity with the younger generation, ranking TikTokers on their rendition of some of the classics alongside his son Will.
We're told back in 2024, Buckingham actually had a restraining order against that woman, but even that didn't stop the stalker. LAPD has not yet made an arrest. I'm Haley Winslow for Fox 11 News.
Well, coming up, it's been serving meals around LA for more than 100 years. The Midnight Mission.
We're in studio talking about a special Easter brunch with a special musical guest. That's next. Guess which one?
And our weather's looking good here as we head into tomorrow. It's going to be somewhat on the cool side like today. As you can see, our rainmaker from yesterday is long gone. And then the story at the end of the week becomes a warm-up and Santa Ana winds that'll turn strong. We'll talk about that coming up.
wife.
Yeah. All right, this Sunday is Easter, and the Midnight Mission, again this year, brings hope to Skid Row with its annual Easter celebration meals.
Lots of volunteers and some famous faces will not only be passing out meals, but bringing music, compassion, and hope. So here to tell us all about it are Georgia Holly from the Midnight Mission and singer-songwriter Mark McKay. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for being here and for all that you do. You've been a part of this for 10 years or so.
Yep.
I'm going to get to you and this guitar because you're going to play for us. But first, Georgia, tell people about this Easter Sunday celebration at Skid Row.
So we closed down 6th Street in front of the Midnight Mission, and we set up tables and chairs, and we serve about 2,000 homeless people from our community. And we have them sit down, we bring them the plates. It's served what we call holiday style. We have about 200 volunteers who are going to help us. We have community partners providing much needed resources. We have giveaway bags. And we set up a huge stage in the intersection where Mark will play, and we get people up dancing and really feeling the joy of the holiday, which is so important, especially in Skid Row, where national holidays can be a time where people feel the most alone, and really this kind of event brings so much hope.
So Mark, what do you get out of it that you wanted to do it again and again and again?
I always say it's like my favorite gig of the year because it recenters us so much, you know? I feel like I love playing music that brings people together, and ever since we've done this, before we were playing Easter, Georgia used to have us just come down and set up in their day room, and we just play on a Wednesday night, you know? And you can just tell that that's not a normal day for a lot of those folks. They'd come up and they would request these Bob Seger songs that we've never played in our life, and we'd go, we're going to learn it for you. You know? And we'd just rock out and have fun with them.
That's great. Yeah, so to be clear, you fly in from Nashville. You just got in today?
I just got in today. We're actually playing the Troubadour tomorrow and then Skid Row on Sunday. It's going to be great.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, you're going to debut one of your new songs.
Yeah.
I Am Love.
Yeah. It's exactly like it sounds. It's a song about love. It's a song that you want everyone to listen to and think about being in love and loving things and loving people. And I like music that brings people together.
Can we get a little sample?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. It goes like this. Past these mountains where the sun begins, beyond ocean where it sinks again, over valley full of green and gold. If you wonder just how far I'll go, try me, trust me, make me, break me, call me crazy, yeah, maybe I am love, I am love. I'm the hate that turns to faith, the peace on earth, the hope, the fear. I'm the reason that you're here. I am love.
You are.
I love that song.
Yeah, I love that song too. I Am Love too. Thank you so much for that. Yeah. What's it like to have him out there and to see the reaction that he generates?
It's love. I mean, really, because like Mark was saying, the people there are not just hungry for food. They're hungry for music and art, and just to be seen and feel a part of something, to have that sense of community and family. And with the music, it brings us together. Music's a great equalizer, like pain. And so these moments can build hope. And when people feel hope, they're more apt to ask for help. And so these are great moments of connection.
And really quickly, do you need more volunteers?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You can go to our website to midnightmission.org, and you can sign up there.
Okay, beautiful. So we do have that information. If you'd like to donate to the Midnight Mission, just go to midnightmission.org and click there to donate or to learn more about Sunday's event and to become a volunteer. If you go, you probably get to meet this guy here.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Mark, for being here, and Georgia, and thanks for all that you do.
Amazing. All right, and let's go over now to Chief Meteorologist Adam Kruger.
Now it's like, wah, wah. We got to hear the live music, and then it's this guy talking about the weather. Nicely done, Mark, by the way. That live music is the best. It sounds amazing in here. Okay, so let's talk about what we have changing in our weather. Obviously, rain is gone. This was the rainmaker we had yesterday. It's long gone now, so we're dry at the moment. Rain in Northern California, though, from this system. That's going to keep us a little somewhat cool into tomorrow and keep that onshore wind going as well. And then it's a Santa Ana wind that'll be a big story by Friday to Saturday. Let's look at Futurecast here to show you what the clouds are going to look like here as we get into tomorrow. So we start tomorrow morning. It will be a mostly cloudy start to the day, but it won't hang around too long. Clouds, that is, won't hang around too long. So they'll gradually kind of clear. I think it'll be a mostly sunny afternoon tomorrow. And temperatures tomorrow will be a lot like what we saw today. Also, like today, we're going to have some windy spots across some of the deserts and mountains. So these areas, we have wind alerts, wind advisories in effect through Thursday as a west wind, meaning winds going from west to east will be pretty strong. Then we go to Friday, winds will change direction, and now it's this area generally right here that are included in wind advisories, and these more yellow colors are high wind watches, which could change to high wind warnings, as the gusts may be quite strong through some of these spots with the Santa Ana wind, the wind from the northeast, kicking in by Friday. All right, temperatures tomorrow, very much like what we saw today. So kind of cool in the morning. We'll be in the 50s, 61 degrees at 10 o'clock, probably topping out around 70 or maybe some low 70s near the coast, just a few degrees cooler than that. Here's what it looks like on the map, the highs around the area tomorrow. So our warm spot is out towards Palm Springs, where it goes over 80 degrees. In some of the mountains like Big Bear, highs are only in the 50s. But most of the greater LA area, it's a range of upper 60s to low 70s, with the inland spots being a little bit warmer than what we see along the coast. Now, look what's changing with our temperatures later in the week. Again, I talked about those Santa Ana winds picking up Friday, continuing into Saturday. So that is a warm, dry wind, and that's going to bring our temperatures back up to pretty good distance above normal. What even is normal, by the way, this time of year? 71 would be considered the normal high, so we'll be right around that tomorrow. 80 on Friday, into the 80s this weekend, and then pretty nice weather next week with temperatures in the 70s, at least through Wednesday of next week. For the coast, it'll be 60s for highs tomorrow. A little bit cool, but warms pretty nicely on Friday. Like we often see when we get Santa Ana wind events, the warmth extends all the way to the coast because the ocean essentially is no longer having an impact on the temperatures at the coast. The warm air is blowing from inland areas, so it's probably going to get up to around 80 on Saturday for the coast, 70s on Sunday, and down to around 70 degrees for next week. Valleys and Inland Empire, we've got you in the low 70s tomorrow, low 80s on Friday, mid 80s on Saturday, more 80s on Sunday with some 70s into next week. A couple more regions here. The mountains, we have 50s for the next few days, and then 60s this weekend and beyond. In the high desert, we have temperatures 60s, then 70s, and then 80s by the weekend. Also a couple of pretty windy days in some parts of the high desert. And in the low desert, those temperatures will be warmer than anywhere else. So it's 80s for tomorrow and Friday, close to 90 on Saturday, well into the 90s on Sunday, and more 90s in the low desert, Coachella Valley area as we go through next week. Back to you.
Thanks so much. We still have more news ahead at 8.
But first, here's a preview of what's coming up at 9. It's a joyous occasion, a wedding, but the bride and groom in this video are not happy with their photographer. Why they say they've been duped. Plus, the Sierra's final snowpack survey of the year is out, and it does not look so promising for California. That's ahead at 9.
Keeping kids' brains active during spring break can be a challenge, but one nonprofit in Venice is rising to the occasion.
Fox 11's Coco McAvoy shows us around the Rediscovery Center.
Hey there, we are here at the Rediscover Center in Venice, where kids are able to become makers, creating wonderful art. I'm with my co-host Patrick here from Rediscover News, but I'm also here with Marlo. There's even a news station for Rediscover News. So Marlo, tell us about your news station.
I made a news station, and it has a massive satellite here and here. It has a news car, a mini person that's reporting, and a cameraman, and then we have another one on the roof that is up there.
That's amazing! Oh my gosh, it's so creative. Thank you so much, Marlo. And Patrick, you know, bouncing off of that, the kids just have so much creativity. Tell us about what they're working on.
They're all using creative recycled materials. So we are using things that have been donated to us by household businesses, plastic, corks, cardboard, bottle caps, all sorts of things. And really, we give the kids a lot of freedom to build what they want to build. So we gave the prompt this morning, we want to build a tiny town. We want to use corks as the little people. And then from there, they're using whatever they want to build and whatever they want to see in that tiny town. Rediscover is a nonprofit, and we run programs both in our own spaces in Venice and Mid-City. We have camps and classes. We also work with over 80 schools in the LA area. We are in schools after school and doing programs just like this. We're giving kids real tools so they can use their own creativity and build self-confidence to make what they want to see in the world. We have our programs affordable for anyone who wants to sign up for them. We work with a lot of Title I schools.
Of course, donations are encouraged as well to keep this running, so the kids have lots of materials to work with. For more information, head to rediscovercenter.org. I'll send it back to you.
Well, are you still rocking a Gmail name you made in middle school?
Well, good news. Google is offering a little redemption, giving you a way to change your email name without totally starting over. All you have to do is go to the Google account settings page. To make the change, Google says it will still retain the user's previous data, including emails, photos, and messages. Users will also still be able to receive emails at their former Gmail address, but there's a catch. You can only create a new email every 12 months. Do you have a weird Gmail?
No, I've had my same email for a long time. It's the Apple account.
Oh. No, but we're talking specific. Oh,
yeah. So I'm just saying, but no, I don't have a Gmail.
I mean, they must be talking about people who decided they were Harry Potter 213 at gmail.com.
That's a good pull right there.
Something like that, right? That's why you want to change it. All right, well, don't go anywhere. We're not done yet.
Yeah, LA Live News Tonight continues at 9 right after the break.
live across SoCal. This is LA Live News Tonight on Fox 11 Plus.
Integrity, good roll pitch.
Roger, roll pitch.
Now at 9, a Southern California native is making history as NASA's Artemis 2 mission blasts off for the moon. And
never in the history of warfare has an enemy suffered such clear and devastating large-scale losses in a matter of weeks.
President Trump addresses military goals in Iran and surging gas prices in a nationwide address. Plus, a local couple is warning others after they say a shady photographer turned their wedding day into a nightmare.
All right, and we're looking at quiet conditions right now. Stays kind of cool tomorrow. The big story later this week, Santa Ana winds return and a big warm-up at the end of the week. I'll have that in my forecast coming up.
Thank you, Adam, and thank you so much for being with us. You're watching LA Live News Tonight. I'm Marla Tejas. Well, history is in the making aboard Artemis 2, and there is a major local connection. Victor Glover Jr. serving as the mission's pilot, becoming the first man of color to ever venture into deep space. The Ontario High and Cal Poly grad is carrying Southern California to the moon. Fox 11's Laura Diaz, lucky enough to speak with his proud father about the historic journey, and she joined us now live in studio with more now. Laura?
Yes, Marla. It was a few hours before liftoff. He and his family were all together, and they were feeling very great about the moment at Cape Canaveral. The dad's smile was as bright as the rocket carrying his son, who would soon be in space.
We were all just excited and pumped up and say, all right, let's go.
That's Victor Glover Sr. taking us behind the scenes at Cape Canaveral just hours before his son Victor Glover Jr. would lift off
2, 1
on the historic Artemis 2 mission.
I had a chance to talk with Victor Jr. on FaceTime this morning after he woke up, and seeing the big smile on his face and the fact that he's ready really has put a lot of comfort in my heart.
Glover Jr. will be the first black astronaut to fly around the moon. He plays an essential role, manually piloting the aircraft during ascent and entry. But Victor was a rising star long before his NASA days. He was an athlete and a scholar locally at Ontario High School. He's pictured here with his buddies. They called themselves Knights of the Round Table. Then he went on to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, where he would earn a degree in engineering, play 2 sports, and meet his future wife. A few years back, Victor and I had a playful moment on Zoom. You see, we share the same alma mater in Cal Poly.
You and I actually have a shared history.
Yes, yes.
As busy as he is, Victor still makes time to give back to the Cal Poly SLO campus.
He's the same. He really is Victor all the time.
That's Cal Poly San Luis Obispo's president, marveling over Victor's commitment to his alma mater. He's spoken to numerous student and athlete groups.
He advises engineering. He advises our athletic council. He has come back at the invitation of the Black Student Union. He's so personable, so humble, but yet so inspiring.
With all the hard work that it's taken for him to get to where he is, he's never forgotten about where he came from.
Outstanding human being. Victor Sr. portrayed no nervousness about his son during our Zoom, as I said earlier, but it's just been so great to hear him speak about his son with such reverence and his ability to be able to keep his feet on the ground even as he does these marvelous things.
Yeah, I mean, that points to what we heard from the president of Cal Poly, that he is so humble.
Yes, he is. And he takes the time to give back, Marla, which is tough when you're working all the time. But somehow he does that. He goes back to the school. We know that after Cal Poly, he went on to get 3 master's degrees. So he is highly educated and just a real well-rounded individual, and taking the time to give back, which I think is really speaks to his character.
It's amazing to think that that was about almost 6 hours ago, and the fact that they are well beyond, it's hard to wrap your mind around, right?
Imagine what they're seeing.
Imagine what they're seeing, and for you, seeing this happening, it got really emotional, I think, for a lot of people, but you in particular, because you have a connection.
Well, I feel like I know the family now, and also because Victor did graduate from Cal Poly, as did I. We do a lot of work at our alma mater, so we're very friendly with the president of the university. We're back on campus a lot. I know people that he knows, so I feel a connection to him. I'm rooting for them all, but I feel a special connection to him.
Well, what a wonderful report. Thank you so much. On to this now. This was big news earlier. President Trump says the U.S. is finishing the job in Iran in his first national address since joint U.S. and Israeli strikes began the war a month ago. It's day 32. The president claimed overwhelming victories in just these 32 days. He described the campaign as powerful, but warned fighting will continue for several weeks to hit strategic goals, notably absent any mention of ground troops or diplomacy. Instead, the president told nations reliant on oil from the Strait of Hormuz to start protecting their own interests.
So to those countries that can't get fuel, many of which refuse to get involved in the decapitation of Iran, we had to do it ourselves. I have a suggestion. Number one, buy oil from the United States of America. We have plenty. We have so much. And number two, build up some delayed courage. Should have done it before. Should have done it with us, as we asked. Go to the strait and just take it, protect it.
Global oil prices climbed to $105 a barrel after President Donald Trump's primetime address tonight. Democrats called the speech incoherent, saying it failed to address key questions from the American people, while Iran's foreign ministry is dismissing Trump's ceasefire claim as false and baseless. Well, before tonight's speech, President Trump became the first sitting president to appear at a U.S. Supreme Court case. He watched as justices heard arguments over his order to end birthright citizenship for some people. The order declares children born to parents who are in the U.S. illegally or temporarily are not American citizens. The justices are expected to rule on this case by the beginning of July. Meantime, Democrats are suing to block a new executive order from President Trump that tightens mail-in voting rules nationwide. The order calls for stricter verification and threatens to withhold federal funding from non-compliant states. While the president cites fraud concerns, several states, including Arizona, are calling the move unconstitutional. Legal experts say the battle likely means no changes will take effect before the midterms. All right, live look outside, and that is LAX. Some of that traffic appearing, the bumper to bumper on the upper deck there. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Adam Kruger. A much clearer night than what we had 24 hours ago.
Yeah, you know, we had that one round of rain that came and went. There's not much at all in the foreseeable future, although, like, end of next week, there's a maybe on that, but we won't get too much into that right now. Our headlines really has to do with what's going on with the wind. So it's an onshore wind, which is going to keep the temps a little cool. I'll call it cool-ish as we go into tomorrow. Really, it's around average for this time of year. But then the offshore Santa Ana winds pick up on Friday and kick in and boost our temperatures, especially as we head into the weekend. We're going to find temps going up into the 80s. We'll talk a little bit more about the long-term forecast in a little bit, but let's break down what's happening with the winds here. We have wind alerts in various parts of our area, mostly through here. This is in effect now through Thursday as winds from the west, and I've drawn the arrows on so you see the wind direction. Winds from the west, and these areas may gust as high as 55 miles per hour. And so that's more of the onshore wind. Then we get Friday, this area now included in wind alerts. Some wind advisories. We have high wind watches, which could change to a high wind warning, meaning maybe some really strong wind gusts in some of the mountains that may hit 60. But that wind direction is offshore. That's from the northeast, which, as you know, the Santa Ana winds really tend to bring our temperatures up quite a bit. So we're not going to feel that yet tomorrow. We start tomorrow morning with some cloud cover, mostly cloudy early, gradually kind of clears out later in the day. And temperature-wise, tomorrow will be a lot like what we saw today, meaning upper 60s near the coast. And as you go inland, we find temperatures a little bit over 70 degrees, not much warmer than that. But again, the warm-up starting Friday continues into the weekend with widespread 80s this weekend. We'll talk a little more about that coming up just a bit later on. Marla?
All right, Adam, thank you. The LA County Sheriff Department is facing over $350,000 in fines after state regulators found multiple safety violations led to a deadly grenade blast last year. 3 deputies were killed in the training facility explosion, which Cal OSHA blames on poor training and unattended explosives. Kalosha attorneys also say the department is refusing to hand over vital documents. A sheriff's department spokesperson tells the LA Times they are complying to the extent allowed under the law. The department is also probing allegations deputies shared gruesome photos of the scene, leading one commander to be relieved of duty. Unsealed court documents obtained by the LA Times reveal new details in the murder case against prominent farmer Michael Abadi. Prosecutors say he drove from El Centro to Arizona in the middle of the night to shoot and kill his estranged wife with the goal of claiming a $200 million family trust. Investigators tracked Abadi's truck crossing state lines the night of the killing, which occurred just days before a multi-million-dollar divorce appraisal. Abadi has pleaded not guilty. Well, up next, new DNA technology finally links the 1974 murder of a Utah teen to infamous serial killer Ted Bundy. And the big day was a dream, but the photos never arrived. Hear from the couple accusing a wedding photographer of a total scam. Plus, Tiger Woods stepping away from golf, heading out of the country for treatment following his DUI arrest. Well, it's supposed to be one of the most special days of their lives, but a warning tonight from a couple after experiencing what they describe as a wedding photography nightmare. Let's go live to Fox 11's Ed Laskos in Anaheim to explain they never got their photos, Ed?
Marla, they got a few of the photos, but not the ones they really wanted, and they're out with a warning because they don't want other couples to have to deal with the nightmare that they're dealing with now. Imagine they pay the wedding photographer thousands of dollars. She comes, she takes pictures, but the couple only gets a few of the pictures and not the ones that they really want, the ones that really mean a lot emotionally, like the first dance, cutting the cake, the picture with all the relatives, the elderly relatives who came from halfway around the world for the wedding. None of that. How would you feel? Yeah, I would cry too. Watch.
These photos, they're memories. Like, I would love to share them with my future kids, but you know, I'm never going to have that moment again. It's a one time. You get married one time.
And that one time, with all the memories gone, it's the emotional hangover for Shahad and her husband Daoud, months and months after their wedding, and this is mostly all they have, cell phone videos taken by their guest.
We've exhausted everything. We don't know what else to do. We did go the small claims route. We don't care about the money. We just want the photos. More importantly, we want our memories back.
That after they paid a photographer thousands of dollars, she did take pictures, these pictures, and the couple did receive a few of the pictures, but not the ones they really want the most.
We don't have, like, with the family, we don't have, like, the dinner, the cutting, the cake, nothing.
Which is priceless.
Priceless, yeah, because, everybody loves those photos.
Especially the family photos of relatives who came all the way from Palestine.
And I have yet to see one photo with them, and honestly that breaks my heart because God forbid I don't get to see them ever again. We don't get to visit. Life happens, so those photos would mean a lot to me, like big time.
The photographer has since blocked the couple from any online contact, even ignoring this judgment against her from small claims court. Now the only hope is the photographer won't ignore the emotional judgment.
There's hope.
There's hope.
There's hope.
We're optimistic. We're here on the side of goodness in the world.
Now live, airing on the side of goodness in the world, as he says, and that's what the couple is hoping now, that this photographer will just come clean, eventually just send all the pictures online, and they don't care about the judgment that was issued against them in small claims court, so that the photographer would have to pay any of that money. It's not about the money, Marla. They really want those pictures. And I got to tell you one other thing. If this isn't bad enough, the couple tells me they've been hearing from maybe about 6 or 7 other couples online who say the same thing happened to them by the very same photographer. The photographer with the scam, pay them a lot of money, pays her a lot of money, and they never get the pictures. The same MO, the photographer says she's busy, she'll get the pictures off as soon as she can, and then the couple is left with nothing, hardly anything. So yeah, it is a scam, Marla, and especially with wedding season coming up, it's something you don't want to have to deal with on what should be, as you know, the happiest day of your life.
Do we know why, Ed, that she's not giving up these key photos? And is there a reason why we're not naming the photographer?
Well, that's the biggest question, Marla, as to why. We don't know. The couple was so emotional, but they're saying they don't know. They've reached out to her, and she came up with a lot of excuses, and then just suddenly went away, blocked them all, did not even appear in court in front of the judge at small claims court to defend herself. So we don't know why, and that's the other troubling part, because the couple said that they met her, they kind of vetted her. She came and took some early pictures before the wedding, and they thought she was a girly girl, a nice lady, and then only to find out it certainly was not the case.
And is there a reason why we're not naming this photographer?
Well, you're going to keep pushing on that issue, aren't you, Marla? I got to tell you. No, that's all right. I can only say that. Possibly she goes by many names, many aliases. So take your pick. That's. I think. Why don't we just leave it there?
Okay, that's very good. Ed, when I watch any report, I think about what it's like to watch the news at home, and that's the question I'd be asking, because if I'm looking for a photographer right now, I don't want to accidentally hire this woman and get scammed myself. So that was my only point. So thank you.
No, I know. I was just going to say, of course, there's a lot of legality involved with it, but
Absolutely.
I can tell you something, because you make a very good point, Marla.
Right.
The couple was saying if you go online, apparently this is all over the place online with the name and everything else that's involved, and that's probably the best information to get the exact information, so you're not scammed.
Okay, well, I'm going to be on Google, Ed. I appreciate you. Thank you. I feel so bad for the couple. It's terrible. The fourth and final snowpack survey of the season was taken today in the Sierra. There was clearly very little snow on the ground. This is typically peak season for the region's seasonal snowpack. However, a warm March started this year's melt off earlier than usual. The snow depth was 0 inches. That's 0% of the historical average for this time of year.
Weather is sponsored by American Career College.
All right, live look at Santa Monica there, and you're looking at plenty of water there. Pacific Ocean, the snow melts to water. That's where I came up with that terrible segue, Adam. But ultimately, what's your reaction to the measurement?
Yeah, I mean, so obviously we know it was a very warm March, and it wasn't just that it was confined to SoCal or California as a whole. I mean, a lot of the western U.S. is very warm. But remember, before March, we had some big snow dumps in the Sierra Nevada. So, there was a healthy amount of snow, which is kind of a contrast to the Rockies, which was very, very dry. I think it was a record low snow amount in the Rockies this season as well. So going forward, and actually right now, we actually have some snow coming down in the Sierra Nevada at the moment, as there's a system affecting more so Northern California. I'll show you in a moment. That's that live view in Santa Monica. A little bit cool along the coast. Relatively cool anyways for the next 24 hours or so, but nice and warm at the beach this weekend. If you're planning on heading there, whether it's Santa Monica or up and down the coastline anywhere here in Southern California, you got some nice warm air because of Santa Ana winds. But let's talk about what we had today first. And today, while it may have seemed somewhat cool, this is right around normal for this time of year. Got to 72 downtown. Normal is considered 71. Maybe just feeling kind of cool because of how warm it's been all March long. And then here we are, April, starting with temperatures right around normal. Here's our rainmaker from yesterday. So it's a long way gone off towards the east right now. This is what I was talking about, though, with this next system that's north of us, not bringing any wet weather here. You can see there is some snow coming down on radar across the Sierra Nevada right now, and a little bit of scattered rain kind of around the Bay Area and Northern California. Again, that wet weather is not going to reach us, but we are going to find the winds in the mountains and deserts kind of strong through tomorrow, and they were quite breezy in these areas also today. I want to show you that here as we look at future gusts going into tomorrow. We have this onshore wind continuing, not real windy across a lot of LA, Orange County, but again, the mountains, the deserts where you see those purple colors, that's where it's going to be windy. There's wind advisories in effect there. And then look at the change in the winds on Friday, doing almost a 180. Now they're blowing in from the land towards the ocean. We call that an offshore wind, and in this case, a Santa Ana wind. And there's going to be a couple of spots, 1, 2, and 3, the main Santa Ana wind-prone corridors where the winds will be especially gusty. Another way to think about that is essentially where the highways cut through the mountains. So the 5, the 15, the 10, those corridors is where we're going to find some strong winds. And again, that's going to warm our temperatures up. Overnight tonight, we've got most lows in the greater LA area, dropping into the mid and upper 50s. Of course, there'll be some exceptions where it might be a little cooler. And then tomorrow, the temps will look a lot like what we saw today, which means near the coast, upper 60s. You go inland, just a few degrees warmer with some low 70s from around LA to inland Orange County and across the valleys and the Inland Empire into the 70s as well. So again, that's around normal. It's going to be much warmer than normal, though, pretty soon. So we start getting up to about 80 degrees on Friday, probably still some 70s for the coast at that point. Then we get into our weekend, 80s inland and maybe even around 80 degrees at the coast because of the Santa Ana winds. And next week, temperatures will be, I'd say, in a pretty comfortable range. No rain in the forecast through Wednesday, with highs next week in the 70s. Marla?
All right, Adam, thank you. Coming up, the trial for accused killer Luigi Mangione is on hold as a federal judge delays proceedings until October. New DNA testing has linked the unsolved death of a Utah teenager in 1974 to the infamous serial killer Ted Bundy through advanced DNA testing. 17-year-old Laura Amy disappeared on Halloween night after she left a party alone to go to a convenience store. Her body was found by hikers in American Fork Canyon about a month later. Investigators had long suspected Bundy was responsible, and he had confessed to the killing before his execution. But the case remained open until new DNA technology found a match to Bundy's DNA in evidence samples.
Felt the pain that the family feels when she was taken. We felt the pain that you felt this whole entire time, and we've had a desire to deliver to you some type of healing.
Ted Bundy was one of the nation's most prolific serial killers. He was linked to the murders of at least 30 women and girls in several states in the 1970s. A Las Vegas judge today upholding the guilty verdict for Nathan Chasing Horse. The former Dances with Wolves actor was found guilty in January of 13 counts of child sexual abuse. Prosecutors alleged he used his reputation as a spiritual leader and healer to take advantage of indigenous women and girls. His sentencing date has been set for April 27th. The legal calendar for accused killer Luigi Mangione is getting a major reset in a series of rulings today. A federal judge moved jury selection in Mangione's stalking case to October 5th. Hours later, a state judge postponed his murder trial until September 8th. Defense attorneys argued back-to-back trials were impossible to prepare for. Mangione will now face murder charges in the death of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson this September, with a federal case following just weeks later. Sean Diddy Combs could be walking out of prison sooner than expected. The Bureau of Prisons now lists a release date of April 15th, 2028. That shaves off 10 days. Combs is currently serving a 50-month sentence at FCI Fort Dix for transportation to engage in prostitution. While his release date has shifted recently due to rehabilitation programs, his legal team is still pushing an appeal to get the mogul out even earlier.
Coming up, a post office overwhelmed by the homeless and trash. The disturbing images right after this.
Plus, President Trump addresses the nation, touting military goals in Iran. More from his speech on the other side of the break.
across SoCal. This is LA Live News Tonight on Fox 11 Plus.
Only on Fox 11 tonight, a local post office is buried in trash and surrounded by homeless encampments. It's becoming a total mess for neighbors and customers alike, and the situation is just spiraling. Fox 11's Matthew Seedorf, he's live in MacArthur Park with more. Matthew, the images are staggering.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable that this post office is still operating. There's at least a dozen encampments. There's rats, there's trash. Really unbelievable. Go ahead and take a look at this video. This is just before it got dark this evening outside the post office. The images pretty shocking. The mounds of trash flooding the parking lot, almost blocking spaces. I'd estimate at least a dozen encampments, maybe more. Some of them very impressive, plugged into electricity. Inside one of them, I saw a working fan, even a refrigerator. Now, speaking with a postal worker, he tells me he has safety concerns. He was assaulted here once, while the homeless have been here for months.
We're here for about 9 months. 9 months. Really? Luckily, we haven't gotten kicked out of here yet. Because every other place we go to, they kick us out. We lose everything. Then we end up paying on the streets. I've been asleep at bus stops. I've been chased by men. They almost got, abused, everything.
If the city came by and offered resources, would you take it?
I'll jump on it in a second.
And they haven't done that?
No, not over here. They go to other places and stuff like that, but they haven't came here at all.
So we reached out to the District 1 Council office, and they said that they were aware of it, but this is the busiest fire station in town. We're about 2 blocks from MacArthur Park. They say 80% of their calls are relating to the homeless, and it's really nonstop. We just had one truck leave that way. Now we have another one going this way, and it sounds like there's another one coming out right now. These firefighters are earning their keep out here. I'll go ahead and send it back to you.
Okay, so in terms of, and there's another one. This is unbelievable, Matthew. Nothing like live television. So you're right outside the station. This is literally next door to the post office then?
Yeah, so the fire station's right here. The post office is right across the street.
I see. Okay.
Lined with encampments. And again, it's shocking that it's still operating. The people go there and try to maneuver around the homeless encampments and the trash to get their mail or get a passport.
And I know the woman you talked to said that she's never been offered any city services. Did you hear that same sentiment from postal workers? I mean, have city workers approached them?
Speaking with a postal worker, he says that he was assaulted there and that he was actually punched in the side of the head while he was unloading his truck there. He says that they have cleared out those encampments previously, but within just a day or two, people come right back.
The cycle continues. We must stay on top of it, and I know you will. All right, Matthew, thank you so much. Around the world, all eyes were on the president's speech tonight after the White House announced there would be an important update coming on Iran as the war is presently in its 5th week. Fox's Caroline Elliott is there in New York with the latest on the address.
Tonight's speech marked President Trump's first primetime address since the U.S. and Israeli assault on Iran began more than a month ago.
My fellow Americans, good evening.
President Trump's primetime address to the nation cutting straight to the point.
Tonight, I want to provide an update on the tremendous progress our warriors have made in Iran and discuss why Operation Epic Fury is necessary.
This after the U.S.-Israel war against Iran, or Operation Epic Fury, entered a 2nd month.
Tonight, Iran's Navy is gone.
Enter on Wednesday, smoke billowed over the Iranian capital after the latest strike by U.S.-Israeli forces. Since the start of the war, more than 11,000 targets in Iran have been taken out, and President Trump insisted Iran is now calling for a ceasefire.
I've made clear from the beginning of Operation Epic Fury that we will continue until our objectives are fully achieved. Thanks to the progress we've made, I can say tonight that we are on track to complete all of America's military objectives shortly, very shortly. We're going to hit them extremely hard over the next 2 to 3 weeks. We're going to bring them back to the Stone Ages where they belong.
The president saying the operation has successfully decimated Iran's ability to obtain a nuclear weapon.
Yet if during this period of time no deal is made, we have our eyes on key targets. If there is no deal, we are going to hit each and every one of their electric generating plants very hard and probably simultaneously.
Ahead of the president's speech, Iran's president shared an open letter to the American people claiming Iran never initiated a war and questioned whether President Trump is truly putting America first. In New York, Caroline Elliott, Fox News.
Well, global oil prices climbed to $105 a barrel after President Trump's primetime address tonight. A man who used a dating app to plan a deadly robbery will spend the rest of his life behind bars. Anthony Levi Wilson was sentenced today for luring 25-year-old Jonava Granderson to his death through Grindr in 2021. Granderson was ambushed by gang members in Watts, and Wilson fatally shot him. 2 others were also convicted. The victim's family says the life sentence brings them closer to healing. A disturbing attack on a rock legend in Santa Monica this morning. Fleetwood Mac guitarist Lindsey Buckingham was approached by an alleged stalker. She threw an unknown substance on the 76-year-old musician and then ran. TMZ executive producer Michael Babcock tells us police know who the woman is.
She obviously knew that he was going to be at this place at this time and was sort of lying in wait for him to ambush him and throw this substance on him.
TMZ reports the suspect has had previous encounters with the music icon. Police are expected to make an arrest soon. Well, last night we showed you disturbing video from the Inland Empire. Mother says she called 911 for an intruder, but when the deputy arrived, he ended up shooting her teenage son. Tonight, Fox 11's Nick Garcia is sharing the family's story.
They almost took my son's life, and I thank God every day that my son's still here with me.
Betrayed by the badge. That's how Tamara Brown feels after she called for help, and instead, a deputy shot her son 3 times. Brown says in February of last year, she called 911 to report someone was trying to break into her Apple Valley home. Deputies arrived, and Brown stayed on the phone with a dispatcher.
The 911 dispatcher assured her to walk outside her home because it was safe.
Attorney Denise Gastelum is representing the family in their lawsuit against the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department. Watch this home security footage. You'll see the family run out of the home, they believe to safety, then 3 gunshots. Elijah Brown falls to the ground after being shot in the chest and stomach. In the immediate aftermath of the shooting, the Sheriff's Department released a statement saying that Elijah had a knife. But the family's attorney says
it's a classic example of officers being impulsive, being reckless, racially profiling a young black kid, and shooting first and thinking later.
The Sheriff's Department has not released the body cam footage or the 911 tapes, and the district attorney's office says the case is still under review.
Thank God every day that I'm still able to call my brother, or my brother come see me, or I can tell my brother that I love him, because I wasn't able to.
The traumatic incident has the family questioning the deputy's training.
My son wasn't even out the door yet, and he started shooting. He didn't know who he was. He was racist, he was biased, and he shouldn't have been like that.
And the family is demanding that that deputy be fired and the entire department undergo bias training. In Riverside, I'm Nick Garcia, Fox 11 News.
Tiger Woods once again stepping away from golf, officially turning down the Ryder Cup captaincy and withdrawing from the Masters. This follows his recent DUI arrest and rollover crash. A judge clearing Woods to seek intensive inpatient treatment outside the country. His legal team says the move is necessary to ensure his privacy and focus on his recovery. Well, up next, from Downey to deep space, Southern California cheers as the historic Artemis 2 mission blasts off for the moon. And from pepperoni-topped cookies to flying canines, we're sorting fact from fiction as businesses and police departments roll out their wildest April Fool's pranks.
Kind of day where on social media it's like, oh, they got me again. It's very frustrating scrolling through the reels. All right, on our pattern right now for the weather, we've got a coolish feel that's going to last into tomorrow. We have this warm pattern coming in this weekend along with a Santa Ana wind event. I'll have the details on what that means for us coming up.
Two, one, booster ignition, and liftoff.
Very cool. NASA's Artemis mission heads back toward the moon. The rocket lifted off in a stunning and history-making moment earlier today. Watch parties popped up across Southern California with crowds counting down and cheering the launch. One of the many watch parties took place in Downey. The city is where several space shuttles and Apollo lunar modules were actually built. Fox 11's Christina Gonzalez was at the party at the Columbia Memorial Space Center.
The launch of Artemis 2 live on screens at a watch party in Downey's Columbia Memorial Space Center.
And I saw the Apollo 11 launch on my little black and white TV with my mom in the living room, right, you know? And
did you think this would happen?
I didn't, you know, I'm glad I lived this long to see.
Did you work on the Apollo?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. We calibrated all the electronic equipment used to measure everything. I'm 89 years old now. So I'm just glad to be here to see this.
It is exciting because it's been so long since we've been to the moon, since 1972.
Houston, what does the old moon look like?
Grainy images here from the Apollo missions, which made it possible for humans to set foot on the moon.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Think about it. The idea behind Artemis is to set up a base on the moon, which means travel like they used to do with the shuttle, which, by the way, they happen to have a simulator for here at the museum. I am flying it right now. Let's see if I can land. Oops, I think I'm upside down.
You can just move the stick one more time. There you go. Now you're in the cockpit.
These students definitely doing much better than me.
Pull it up, pull it up, pull it up. Considering how some of these kids have been answering today, knowing about Artemis and even talking about stuff that even I forgot or didn't know, I'm pretty certain that some of these kids are going to be going up to the moon or potentially in the future even Mars.
We made it once, didn't we? Or did we?
Even he has a sense of humor about that whole thing. Now, from the Columbia Memorial Space Center in Downey, I'm Christina Gonzalez, Fox 11 News.
And how about this? This is a live tracker on NASA on the website, so you can see the live updates of the mission. It includes how fast the rocket is traveling, the spaceship's altitude, and how far away they are from Earth right now. And it looks like they are 42 miles away. That is just absolutely incredible, with a speed of more than 5,000 miles per hour. You could sit and watch that all night. All right, on to this. Hershey says it will go back to using classic recipes for its Reese's candy. The announcement follows criticism from the grandson of Reese's founder that the company had shifted to cheaper ingredients. Some other products are now made with a coating that contains less chocolate. The chocolate giant is also planning to make Kit Kats creamier and vows to eliminate all artificial colors across its entire product line by 2027. April Fool's Day still in full swing. Some businesses are celebrating with a mix of surprising deals and bizarre pranks. At BJ's Restaurant and Brewhouse, the Pizookie is getting a strange makeover, available today, only topped with pepperoni and honey. Meantime, Dunkin' is keeping things sweet with a massive giveaway, offering more than 1 million free coffee to customers who use the promo code Still Not a Joke. Of course, not every new product is legitimate. Halls is trolling candy lovers with a grandma's purse cough drop, purportedly featuring the authentic taste of lavender and pocket lint. And yesterday we told you about Beverly Hills' new drone in a box, but today Oxnard police are taking things to new heights with dogs on drones. The department unveiled its new drone canine unit featuring Officer Blaze, a very good boy deployed directly from the sky. The department says this is an April Fool's joke, but it definitely gives a whole new meaning to an airborne canine. Yeah, I'm sure some people did a double take on that today, including folks in our newsroom. This is April Fool's, right?
With AI, it's so easy to make some kind of April Fool's video, like the pepperoni Pizookie thing.
Right.
Like, that was probably 5 seconds on AI, and then this dog thing too. I think AI probably just whipped that up as well. We have it too easy now.
We do, and to your point, it can be a little frustrating when you're scrolling through your reels today because you got, I don't know if you want to say dupe, but you got taken in a way.
Yeah, I mean, so MLB, I was on their Instagram page, and they had, like, you got to see the Shohei clip, and it was a video of Shohei, and then they had it, like, intentionally buffering, right? But it was like you thought the video was buffering, and I closed the app and went back in, and I was like, oh, okay, I see what's going on.
Yeah.
Here. So.
April Fools.
Yeah. By the way, I woke up this morning. My feet didn't even hit the ground from the bed yet, and I got pranked by my daughter, who woke me up saying, there's water running down the stairs. And then I went to the stairs, and there was a bunch of water bottles in shoes, like down the stairs. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. No, I got it.
Yeah. Okay. So, and that's on my Instagram story if someone wants to see what that
Oh, yeah. I do want to see that. So, in other
good.
words, your daughter is clever like Dad.
Yeah.
Clever Kruger. That's what I call you.
Yeah, and then it made me, going into this, I should have come up with like some kind of crazy weather thing to throw in here for April Fools. But we're going to keep this all legit. This is all legit weather. There's no AI here. There's no fake forecast or anything. All right. So on our headlines, we're talking about what we saw today. So we have an onshore wind that's keeping those temperatures cool-ish again tomorrow. Offshore Santa Ana winds, those drying, warming winds kicking on Friday. So it starts warming, and we have temperatures this weekend going into the 80s. On radar and satellite right now, it's all quiet here locally. This is what brought the rain to us yesterday. It's moved far, far off to the east by now. Another system up here bringing some wet weather across northern California. No wet weather for us, though. However, kind of cool and windy in some spots. Right now, it's these areas from the mountains to the deserts where we have wind alerts, wind advisories in effect through Thursday, as winds from the west are going to be strong, maybe gusting up to 50 or 55. And then Friday, we have this area here where wind alerts go into effect. These yellow colors indicate high wind watches, which could change to high wind warnings because of strong offshore winds or winds from the northeast or Santa Ana winds. So that's an area where there could be some rather strong wind gusts towards the end of the week. Tomorrow, we're looking at some clouds early, sun in the afternoon, temperatures topping out around where we saw them today. Low 70s inland, maybe more like upper 60s along the coast. Here's a look at highs around the rest of the area. Again, not a big temperature spread for tomorrow, just a little bit cooler at the coast and a little warmer inland. Very close to average for this time of year. At the end of the week, it is not average, though. We're going to be warmer again. 80 degrees Friday. We'll go 80s this weekend, and still pretty nice next week with temperatures leveling off kind of in the upper part of the 70s. For the coast, again, cooler tomorrow in the 60s. But even at the coast, because of the Santa Ana wind, we're going to find the warm air making it all the way to the coast, up to about 80 degrees on Saturday. Probably a lot of people at the beaches, I would think. Very nice weather for that. Sunday will be in the 70s, and then around 70 at the coast next week. And then finally the valleys, the IE. We've got you in the low 70s tomorrow, and then jumping up about 10 degrees on Friday, and then up a little more with those highs in the 80s this weekend. Marla?
I just saw the water running down the stairs. Very, very cute. All right, that was a good one. Coming up, a piece of cinematic history just broke the bank. A rare C-3PO head fetches more than $1 million at auction.
That's not a great idea.
The 83rd annual Golden Globes generated an estimated $133.5 million in economic impact for Beverly Hills and the greater Los Angeles region. This is according to a report released today. The analysis conducted by Gray Hill Advisors in partnership with Dick Clark Productions found the award show and related events supported approximately 550 jobs and produced $43.9 million in employee earnings across the region.
Drinking Jack all by myself. Histories in Texas, I can tell.
Country star Ella Langley's heartbreak anthem, Choosing Texas, just got a star-studded video featuring Yellowstone's Luke Grimes, Miranda Lambert, Ava Philippe, and more. It was released today. The video set in Fort Worth. The video stars Langley and Grimes as a couple navigating love, loss, and Texas life. Langley's new album, Dandelion, drops April 10th. Now, an update to a story we brought you last week. This C-3PO head from The Empire Strikes Back just sold for more than $1 million. The rare Star Wars prop featuring light-up eyes with original wiring far exceeded its $700,000 estimate at auction. It's believed to be the only C-3PO head from the 1980 film available to collectors. Now, the item came from the family of a crew member who worked on the movie.
C-3PO was the very first character dialogue that we heard in Star Wars A New Hope and was one of the only characters that we saw featured in all 9 of the Star Wars saga films. And that makes this character probably one of the most recognizable droids in cinematic history.
Auction house prop store called it a standout piece for Star Wars fans. Of course, this begs the question, where's C-3PO's body? Where's his body? His head went for more than $1 million. All right. Thank you so much for watching LA Live News Tonight. Our 10 p.m. newscast just minutes away on Fox 11. Good night.